Yes, ma'am. Tonight's beer selection.
Nitrous settings.
Ah, shit. Rename. All right.
Do you need glasses there, dude?
Well, my computer is like down. It's like 3 feet away, 4 feet away.
I was thinking I could.
Telescope?
We get the Las Vegas mayor on. I could probably recreate Anderson Cooper from the other night.
Long names. Sort of new. Lundy, New Realm, or well, Lundy Hop Trot.
All right, how much time we got? 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes. One more puff of the stuff, and we'll be ready.
Doc McPuffin's over there.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that. Might as well prime this for face-to-face.
Nice. We know that mic's up.
Wow.
These fucking ice cubes are fucking huge. Look at that shit.
Can't. I'm on the Facebook interface. I'll believe you though. Ian has big cubes.
I like big cubes, and I cannot lie.
All right.
We're with the fish crop tonight. What do you guys think about the fish crop?
Love it. Does it sing?
No, it's actually a bottle of bourbon.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Oh, shit.
It's kind of in shape of a plaque. Yeah, yeah.
So this is from the Fishing Hall of Fame in Hayward, Wisconsin. My grandfather got this back in like 1975 or something like that.
Very
and it's
cool.
still got the original seal on there, so it's never been opened.
Wow.
Wow. How old is that bottle? Say again.
45 years old.
When are you gonna open it?
Probably never.
Never. Hand
Maybe.
it down to the grandchildren. Yeah.
The thing is like once you put it in a bottle, like bourbon like that, it usually doesn't do too much more in the bottle. Scotch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't change too much once you pull it out of the barrel.
Gotcha. Okay,
Beer
so
does-
it's not going to be
weird.
It's not going to be aged like to perfection after 45 years, right?
It's 100 months old is what it says. So
Okay.
it kind of mislead you with that one. 100 months. That's 10 years. That's
10 years. Yeah.
your Johnny Walker. That's your Johnny Walker.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so should be just about ready to go live, which is good because we got like 5 minutes.
All right.
All right, which one of the beers are going to be the favorite tonight? That's what I'm wondering. I'm kind of leaning towards that New Realm. I think that the story behind that is going to get me, like who's the guy that makes it in that? Coming from Stone. If y'all have ever had Stone.
Oh yeah.
Stone.
Like Stone from California, right?
Yeah, that's where he's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a Stone beer.
No, it's the brewer. Their master brewer comes from Stone Brewery.
Gotcha.
And so, what they were saying about him is like he's a lot of people say he wrote the book on modern IPAs.
Well, they're hard to tell. I guess there's so many out there. But
He's got a lot to live up to here with this one.
yeah, there you go. Well, yes, I know the Stone Brewery. I think that's in Oceanside or something like that. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I've got a lot of friends who have actually been to the Stone Brewery. It's got a
They
nice.
got a couple of them now in California.
Okay.
So I went to Napa back in November. We went to the one there in Napa.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Hey, matter of fact, Travis.
We're 4 minutes out.
Okay.
Travis over there at Scoflaw, he went to he studied chemistry at Berkeley before he
Yeah.
started making beer. Yeah. thought that was kind of
Yep.
an interesting story. It's funny. I asked him too. I said, "How do you get your IPAs to? I mean, how do you get such phenomenal balance? You know, in a 7.5 or a 7.8. I mean, there's no sting. There's no, you know, long aftertaste. You know, it drinks like a 5.5, and then he went off this, you know, like super intellectual. You know, this is the way I do triple fermentation. I take the fermentation. Yeah, now he's speaking Japanese. Yeah, I get it. You're a genius.
No, they have the one called the Double Jeopardy, which is like their double IPA, and that's 10%. We had that. We did their whole line of beers, 2 weeks ago, Sean?
Okay.
Yeah. And we had the basement. They gave us a whole bunch to talk about them. So we were hoping to get one of the brewers on. That's
Yeah,
the
they
next
make
step.
great. Yeah, that would be really cool. I know they've got I think it's either a stout or a porter. It's like a 10.5%. It's at the bottom of their it's the bottom of their
It's
menu.
a vanilla absentium. It's a porter, and it's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll be drinking that tonight. Sorry.
Well, I've got one. I've got that same beer in the fridge. We put it in the fridge, and we said we're going to open it in 2 years. So
I bought two, one for tonight and one for 2 years from now.
there you go. Oh, you went and got some more?
I did.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good
I
stuff.
had to buy some sanitizer for work.
Yeah. Now, do they bottle that porter too? Can you buy that in a bottle?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get that done.
I got that. Where do I got it? Here.
We're 2 minutes out, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your bottle of it.
Oh, God. I use live streaming stuff. Usually you're not supposed to.
It's really great.
Even put the bottle date on there, so we know a couple of Christmases from now we're gonna have a cool present.
Oh shit.
I'm pissed about.
All right.
Okay, why does this have to fuck me now? No.
You like this height on this camera, Ty? We should have talked about that earlier, but you told me to bump it up a little bit, so I did a little bit tonight.
Yeah, as long as you're not leaning back so much.
You know I'm gonna slouch. You know I'm gonna move around the whole time. That's why it looks like I'm leaning back all the time. But because I start in this position and I start talking and I get up in your face.
Well, then we have a full range of movement right there. Then we're all good. Thank you, Gordon, for coming on with us.
Yes,
Of
thank
course.
you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Beer and craft cocktails, you know, new inventions. I'm all about that.
All right, we might be. Fucking caught it super close.
Yes, you are.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah, my thing just hit.
We came on 20 minutes late last week, so I think we're all right.
All right. Naming broadcast now. I'm calling IPA night with Gordon Vaughn. And let me run back here.
Hey, what's happening?
Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. I hit it early. Just kidding.
We're here.
It's
All right, good evening, everybody.
Give me like 5 more seconds. It's doing a little loading bar.
Oh, it says live on my screen.
Let me wait till the IPA. Okay. We should be live now.
I think we're live. All right, Tim, I'm the Beery Traveler. Welcome to the Friday night live stream. What I do is I travel the country in search of good times and great beers. I'm here tonight with Sean, as always, the bartender extraordinaire.
Good to see y'all.
We also have Gordon Vaughn tonight. He's with us. He's from the band 1500 Pieces, formerly with the band Cool for August, if you remember back in the 90s days. Some of us do. But we're also going to have 3 beers for you tonight. We've got the Hoptropolis IPA from New Realm Brewing Company. They're down in the 4th Ward area of Atlanta. We also have the Lundi IPA from Monday Night Brewing. also here in Atlanta. And then we're going to try a Night on Ponce IPA from Three Taverns Brewing. They're in Decatur. Well, without further ado, let's welcome our guests. Gordon, Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, but I opened one. I couldn't wait. I'm looking at all this beer in front of me and all this good, drink. And I'm like, okay, I can't take it any longer.
All right, let's jump in. Grab mine and we'll go going too. We're going to start with the New Realm tonight. The Hoptropolis IPA. So this is considered a tropical style IPA. First two are going to be tropical style. A Night on Ponce IPA is considered an American style IPA. So I'm going to use the proper IPA glass according to the glasses we use at Canoe. This one's definitely got that nice golden beer color to it. Very traditional head style. I can already smell the tropical aromas before I even put my nose in it.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so this one is made with Citra and Mosaic hops. Both of these are going to be, the first two have Mosaic hops, which is really one of those hops that you use in a tropical style IPA. It gives you that pineapple, that guava, that warm tropical feeling. And then the Citra hops gives it a little bit of the citrusy notes, that grapefruit, lemony.
Now, do you know where the Mosaic hops originate from?
I don't know exactly. I think it's Hawaii, but I'm not absolutely positive where they originate from.
Okay, yeah, because I know that there's different hops in different territories, and you don't want to try to grow, from a region in Italy. I know they're very specific about that. So this is really very good, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mosaic hops, you'll see a lot of brewers will do a single hop Mosaic hop IPA a lot of times, where they'll do that. Some of the bigger ones that have done that recently, Terrapin has. Sweetwater, I know, has also done that as well. But you definitely get that stone fruit. I definitely get that citrusy to it as well from the Citra hops. This beer is a 6.5 APV, so it's a bigger boy.
Bigger, super light body. Like it doesn't sit super heavy in your palate and in your mouth at all. Like it's clean, very clean.
Yeah, it is very clean. Yeah, it comes right off, but it leaves you the nice little citrusy to it.
Kind of a summertime-ish kind of beer too. I mean, it
Yeah.
tastes like something that you could just drink, the whole day, and as long as you're doing something, like tubing or water skiing or whatever.
Labor Day.
There you go. Drink that all day long.
So a little bit something about the brewer. I talked to Chris today on the phone down there at New Realm. Mitch Steele is the master brewer there. He comes to them from Stone Brewing, pretty famous outfit out in California. They've got quite a few breweries out there now. A lot of people say that he wrote the book on modern day IPAs. So this, I think, is right on. He did a very good job with that. I guess he's won a lot of awards. Like I said, they're down there in the Atlanta 4th Ward. They do have a restaurant that is connected with their brewery as well. Right now, they are still doing to-go food and beer down there. So definitely go down there, check them out. Say hello to Chris. Tell him you heard about him on the Beery Traveler. But we're gonna hopefully he'll have a mob of people down there. But so Gordon, bring to you. I listen to a lot of your music. I listen to the 1,500 pieces. You also have some solo stuff I listen to. What else did I did.
So I tried to hide that stuff. I don't know how you found it.
I found it.
Yeah. I guess you can find anything nowadays.
But I also listened to the Cool for August stuff, and I thought that was really great. Some of my favorite songs that you had was Trials and Walk Away.
Yep. Trials and Walk Away. Actually, Trials was probably the second song that we wrote as a band. Walk Away was written by our bass player. It was the only song that he wrote from scratch. He wasn't a guitar player. He was a bass player. So he came up with this riff, and I just started I heard the melody immediately in my head and started singing this, desperate song of like, not having any money, not being able to eat, everything that us musicians were doing back then. It was always a constant struggle. So, those songs are very melodramatic, if you didn't notice. But, it was a lot of fun, We got to tour with a lot of great bands. For about 60% of all of our touring was with Matchbox 20. We saw them go from, down here, all the way up to, selling out 5,000 seat arenas, selling millions of records. That was a cool journey.
Yeah.
And, I feel extremely fortunate, to be able to have that journey with them. So, Foo Fighters, no doubt, we were that band that was kind of, opened up for everybody and always a bridesmaid,
Yeah, warm the crowd up for 'em.
Yeah, sometimes you see those pictures where a friend ran into some famous people at a restaurant or something like that, and then they're taking a picture with three presumably famous people. You always recognize two of them, but there's one there that you don't recognize, and that's me. I'm that guy you don't recognize.
That's not necessarily a curse, from what I understand.
What's that?
That's not necessarily a curse.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Not. It's very few bands even get to perform with greats, with great artists. Very few get to play in front of 40,000 people at an outdoor festival. So, we wrote it as long as we could. Didn't stop working, and it was a whirlwind, and it was over just as quickly as it began. So, yeah, doesn't last long unless you get really lucky, and there's really only room at the top for for a few of those artists. So it was a lot of fun though watching them.
Yeah, I bet it was a lot of fun hanging out that summer, huh?
Hanging out where?
Hanging out on tour with
Yeah. I mean, you become good friends with people, and you start to get to know them as people. Rob Thomas, he's one of those guys that can hang out with anybody. He can meld into any crowd. He's an Energizer bunny, so he's nonstop. He'll do a show for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we'll end up. We used to end up at a bar at like 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. And he'd get on a karaoke machine and sing one of his own songs on karaoke, and the crowd would be just like, they'd look at each other like, "What the fuck?
Who's this?"
Yeah. And then he closed the bar down 5 o'clock in the morning, man. The lighting, the hardened road crew are like,
Yeah.
I can't keep up with this guy. Yeah, it's funny. And that was on a nightly basis. Sorry, Rob, I'm giving away some secrets. I'm sure he's not watching this.
Yeah. maybe someday.
I'll add a hashtag.
I think he's got his own podcast.
Can I throw one of the ones and say that was those days where you were unwell?
Yes, exactly. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and we performed live. Well, I mean, we used to perform live until the whole epidemic. But we always do about 3 or 4 Cool for August songs when we do our shows. So hopefully we'll get back out there and perform at Smith's Old Bar. That's probably going to be our next stop. And
Excellent.
Try to get over to East Atlanta to do a show before coming back to Midtown.
Okay.
No, we're just counting the days.
Excellent.
Feasible.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for some live music too myself.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the stage.
All right.
But in the meantime, this is
we can drink some beer in the meantime.
Drink some beer and yeah.
Speaking of beer, let's move it along to the Lundi IPA.
I had it backwards.
I've already got a buzz, by the way.
Yes. So I had to contact them to make sure I'm pronouncing this right, which I'm glad I did because I would not have pronounced it right. This is also a tropical style IPA, also made with Mosaic hops. But this one's made with Simcoe and El Dorado hops. So I know about Simcoe hops, definitely come from Washington State. El Dorado hops, both El Dorado and Simcoe are kind of that same kind where they add that pininess or that resiny flavor that you would get from an IPA. So blending that with the Mosaic hops, you get a little bit more of that sharper edge to the beer. I like to call it, or that piney note, or that jumps off your tongue a little bit. You can smell it too on there. You get that pine, that fresh pine almost.
Yeah, it's not as citrusy or tropical on the nose. A little hazier in color. Like it's like the same yellow, but it's a little hazy.
Yep. It is. It does have a haziness to it.
Like a little richer, a little mouthier, more bite.
But I will say that those mosaic hops are definitely overpowering the Simcoe and the Eldorados on this. Not necessarily overpowering them, but keeping those two hops from taking over the beer. They're definitely being held down. Like you don't get that strong pine that you do get from some of those beers that have those kind of hops on there.
Yeah, you guys are nailing the Lindy. It's exactly what you're describing. I mean, I can taste everything that you described.
Yeah, it's nice. There's a little malt on the end.
Yeah, the sweetness.
And it's not
Or
too
creaminess
piney.
almost.
You know, it's not too piney. It's got a good balance of those hops.
Yeah.
You know, unlike a typical IPA where it's very, I would say mosaic-y, kind of aromatic.
Well,
not,
but it's not even compared to the New Realm where you're getting a lot more of those aromatic and those big tropical flavors. This one is definitely maybe like a cooler climate to it is the best way to describe that.
Sure. Yeah, over at this is a good big seller over at Public House 28. And it's a big seller because a lot of people, they go in and they don't want to have something that's too hoppy or too floral or skunky. They always put those adjectives to your typical IPA. And I always recommend something like this. And they absolutely love it because they don't get that huge floral kind of nose, and flavor, out of it. And it almost kind of drinks like I don't want to say a lager because, but it's not as pungent as most IPAs.
Yeah.
It's very smooth, very balanced. Monday Night Brewery is they're always consistent with all of their beers, and they're all just, they're all big sellers. They're all very well balanced, very good beers. I'm impressed with Monday Night Brewery.
Well, that's a good segue into, talking about the brewery a little bit. First, with this beer, this is a 7.1 ABV, so the alcohol is a little bit higher on this one.
Oh, shoot, I'm almost done with it. I better slow down.
Real slow.
Beer is available in once it hits the lips,
Goes down really.
Yeah. Available in Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama. They're actually we're just about to open a new facility in Birmingham, and they still are planning on opening it this year sometime. So their slogan is "Weekends are overrated." So they got that slogan because they were started by three guys who were basically white-collar workers, and they would get off work on Mondays, and that Monday night was their night to get together and brew beer together. So their logo that you see on every bottle is that loosened necktie, and that was kind of where they do it. It represents them getting off work and relaxing and brewing beer and, just having some good times together.
Very cool.
And so I thought that was a cool way of how you decided to start making beer. And if you've ever been down to their garage, I don't believe they're opening it right now, but really cool place to hang out. You can actually bring your kids there, and it's a good time. They've got a big section with games and stuff like that for the kids. They've actually got a food truck inside the building.
That's good. And where's the building at? Where's the
facility?
It's
down in West End.
West End, okay.
We've got that new area that's if you go just past it's down by the old Turner Field, actually, just across 75 from the old Turner Field.
Okay, like Peoplestown, Grant Parkish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Down in that.
Okay.
So, tell us about what you've been doing, what you were doing in between projects.
Well, in between projects, we got off the road, an interesting story because we had, once we got off the road, we started writing new music, got out of the contract with Warner Brothers, started talking to people over at Arista Records. And that was L.A. Reid, did a private showcase for him and played for a few people at the label. And we thought that we were going to be like one of those lucky, oh my gosh, we're going to get another record deal, you know,
Mhm.
two, you know, if most bands only get one shot. And, you know, we had plane tickets booked. We had all of our gear on a plane, headed to New York City. This was September 10th, 2001.
Hmm.
And yeah. And as I'm packing, literally as I'm packing my clothes, you know, getting ready for this trip, um, I turn on the news and watch the second plane go into the World Trade Center, you know, into one of the Twin Towers.
Mhm.
And it was surreal. And as the news feeds, you know, as the news is, anchors talking, like another plane just went through, you know, World Trade Center, blah blah blah. And I thought it was a movie. I thought I was watching
Mhm.
like some
Yeah.
sort of, you know, like Blair Witch Project or something like that. And you know, I started flipping channels, and it was everywhere. CNN, you know, CBS, Fox, you know, all the news stations were playing it, and I thought, wow, this is destiny right here,
Mhm.
you know. So we never did take that trip. um Cool for August ended up disbanding the end of 2001, I think maybe January 2002. Became a songwriter with Hitco, which was an LA Reid affiliated publishing company. Wrote music for them for about 2 years, and then had two sons, Simon and Gray Vaughn, and got my real estate license. And for the next 10 years after that, um, worked in real estate,
Okay.
you know, working with investors and investment properties. So, you know, doing investment property before all those shows came on, all those ridiculous shows. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, let me just tell you, real investing is not like that at all. It's not as easy as you think. But yeah, just you know, because music at the time, it wasn't making enough money for me, you know, to be able to support the two boys and everything else I had going on. So, and real estate, just, you know, I made a transition very smoothly. Studied while I was writing music, and went in and immediately started working for an investment company, and the money was ridiculous. And right off the bat, you know, the money started coming in. I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm never going back to music ever again. And you know, then the market, yeah, right. And then, you know, markets up and down, and that's the reality of it. But more importantly, you know, I thought I could give up I thought I can push music to the side for a lot longer than I was able to. And it started to change me. You know, it started to change my attitude, my opinions of things, my general disposition. And it's one of those things, like if you're a musician, you know, or an artist or a creator of any type, you understand that when you're not doing it, there's a part of you that just disappears. And that's kind of what was happening to me. And it reached you know, kind of a, I guess, a pinnacle where I went out and I just spent a boatload of money on music gear and Pro Tools and recording. You know, I'm a singer songwriter, so you know, I need to have something to record and write on. And it reignited, you know, and it was a little bit of timing too. My boys were older, and they were able to, you know, they were a little more self-sufficient. And I just had the opportunity to jump back into it, and learned about Spotify and iTunes and streaming, and you know, how royalties are distributed these days, and how you don't need a record company to go out and get your music out to the masses. So you know, I thought, man, you know, this is a great time to do it. So I kind of, you know, I didn't give up working for a living, but I do put a lot of time in music and marketing. So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
Okay. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is a great story. That's and so you're just kind of coming back to it then now,
I
huh?
apologize if it was too long.
No, not at all.
No, it's a good circle of life. So
Yeah.
when did you kind of solidly get back into music? Like 5, 10?
Solidly, I would probably say about, you know, 100% commitment to writing music about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, serious commitment to put a band together and do some local shows and get back out on the road again, probably about 16, 17 months ago. And we've done 3 shows since then. Unfortunately, we haven't done enough shows. So that's going to be next on the agenda once the world reopens for business again.
The streams. So now the new thing to do is quarantine videos. Have you seen these now? Like Goldfinger did, and where they all played like their part, like we're doing. They played their part and then put it all together.
It's amazing what people can come up with when they're bored as hell and they've got nothing else to do.
Exactly.
No, and some of it's really good. I mean, there's a lot of great creative. I just heard of this guy for the first time ever. I think it's Ticked Off Tony.
Okay.
Or something like that. Have you ever heard this guy? I mean, he's in his car and he goes off on a rant, for about 10 minutes on how the government is screwing us and they can't get our checks right. And the banks want to give us 3 months of reprieve on mortgage payments just to pay the entire amount 3 months later. He goes, "You're greedy this, greedy that." And he's going, and his spit's flying out of his mouth. But everything that he says, I mean, he talks really fast. His brain's going fast. His speech pattern is really, really fast. And you're fooled into thinking that it's all rehearsed. But it doesn't look rehearsed because he's not looking at a cue card. He's just talking and ranting and thinking. And I've never seen anything like it. I'm like, and this guy is right. If you find this guy, definitely I'm pitching, Ticked Off Tony right now.
I'll have to look that guy up.
He should give me a little piece of that pie.
All right. I'm gonna beat Ty. I'm gonna beat Ty to giving me the notice to move along. So
Okay.
we're gonna talk about the next one, the Night on Ponce IPA. So Ponce, if you're not from Atlanta, Ponce is Ponce de Leon Avenue. It's notorious for being the hangout. Everybody knows, or it has
Iconic.
a story about Ponce.
Hell yeah.
You go
a lot of great clubs on Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, you go from the Fox Theater on down to Virginia Highlands, and that's the road. It's just it's basically our First Avenue because it's the next road up from North Avenue. But One Night on Ponce IPA, we're gonna give this one a try. So this is an American IPA. So this is gonna be quite a bit different from the other ones. This one is, so what I've got on this one is they use Belgian style hops and malts. And I'm sorry, I don't know which hops and malts. I could not find that information on this beer. But they use American yeast instead of a Belgian yeast on there. So it gives it a real, more of that IPA style than that weedy to it. You're still going to get that. I like to say wheat beers have that bubblegum nose to it, and this does have that.
Yeah. I'm getting kind of a, not for me, but like a funk.
Yeah.
Like almost like a really, really mild blue cheese kind of.
Yeah.
And I like blue cheese, so it's again not a criticism.
It's like a if you put some citrus in the bacon.
Like a smoky flavor, maybe.
We're gonna try it now.
That's a way more balanced as far as an IPA goes.
The malts are on there.
Yeah.
There's definitely malt on that. It's got some sweetness to it. And I know this is an older style beer than these two are. The first two are. This beer, this kind of Belgian style is definitely a lot. The tropical IPAs are kind of a new wave that's coming through with that mosaic hops, and now they're expanding upon it. And this is kind of getting back into that old style, that crisp, that bite, that bitterness to it.
I'm like, yep, you guys are right.
Yeah, it's a little breadier.
Yep, it's got a heavier mouthfeel to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's and then that malt backbone is on this beer. It's got a big malty finish to it.
Yes, it does. It tastes very thick, and I can tell that this is more of a sipping beer. It's a 7.5, so it's got a good alcohol content in it.
And relative to the other beers, it's actually
A lot
darker.
Yeah. And that's the malts. That's the heavier malt on that is what gives it that darker color.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that with the malts, how it really brings character last week with the stouts, and so this is what we were talking about, where that style of beer where it kind of went to the stouts was, and this is what was directed and where they wanted a little more full flavors, which you get from a stout, but you're pushing the edge of the IPA with this one.
That's a really good IPA. That's a
Yeah.
really good IPA. A Night on Ponce, 3 Taverns. Okay. Do you know how long 3 Taverns has been around? Are they a local brewery?
They're a local brewery. They're out of Decatur.
Okay.
So I went on there. So it comes from these guys have been working together for a long time. They kind of got started by backpacking through Europe, hence the Belgian style of beer.
Mm-hmm.
And they took their name from a real place that was along the Appian Way in ancient Rome. It's actually mentioned in the Bible in the book of Acts. So they took the name from this tavern, which also could be known as 3 buildings, or so you have your food house, you have your
so this beer has been approved by the Almighty, right?
Yes, it has.
All right, outstanding.
And another thing that I read on the 3 Tavern site is one of their paragraphs that they had, and I really wanted to read this because I thought this is really great and kind of really on point of what we do even. So what they say is, at 3 Taverns, we believe as we gather at the table and share our lives together over good food and drink, we are formed at our best as humans. And beer is often a participant in these moments. So
Absolutely.
I thought that was like perfect for like really what we're trying to do is bring people in and learn about stuff. Bringing yourself better by learning about what you like to drink. What's in it? How do you describe it to somebody to say, I love this beer because it's like this, because it has this. And I know it's great because it has this kind of hops, or it has this kind of malt, or it's this kind of style from it. So
there's a lot of people out there that are very serious about this too. They
Mm-hmm.
go out and they shop online, and they have kind of these eclectic lines of beers mailed to them, from different places of the globe, and they form groups where the group kind of shares some of the things that they buy. One person in the group will get 2 6-packs of some rare beer, and they'll share it with amongst these beer clubs, and it's becoming a big thing, and I think
I do beer trades with people. So like just recently I traded with a guy in New Jersey. And so I sent him I saw he had I follow 311. That's like one of my favorite all-time bands is 311. So I've gone to plenty of 311 shows. And so they now make their own beer. And the latest one they have out is from New Jersey. And so I saw that he was drinking it on his Facebook page, and I was like, I want some of that beer. What can I trade you for? And he saw the Creature Comforts Tropicalia in my fridge here. He's like, ooh, that Tropicalia. So I traded him that, and then I was like, well, why don't we do a mix 6 from down here, and you send me a mix 6 from up there. So he sent me a lot of cool stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, people can learn. People can learn. 3 different beers once a week. Beery Traveler, and understand. What makes them taste the way they taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw last week. I was reading through the comments, and somebody had asked, about putting these beers out first. So I tried to put them out as early as I can when I know them. I don't always know exactly what beer I'm running till up to maybe 2 or 3 days before we do it. But as soon as I know, I try to put them on there so the viewers can, enjoy them with us.
Right. No, and your description, you and Sean are just like spot on. The way you describe it as you taste it. I mean, I'm sitting back, I'm quietly thinking, they're just so dead on. This is exactly what it tastes like.
So tell you a little bit about why Sean and I are kind of in detail about these things. Is we work at Canoe, and so beer's not really our top seller at Canoe. We sell a lot of wine.
By the way, Canoe is one of the best restaurants in Atlanta, hands down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the only ones on Chattahoochee River, on the best part of the river, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Thank you.
The river for sure.
We love our shameless plugs here. But so with wine, when you're describing wine to somebody, especially if you get that person that knows wine, because a lot of times they'll be like, "Who's this server? He don't know shit." So really, at Canoe, you have to know your shit about wine. So when you take that kind of tasting and you're swabbing around, and and you take that with beer, and you're looking for this. It's a little different because with wine, you have certain grapes. With beer, I feel like you're looking for that certain kind of hop, or to help you describe the beer
Right.
and
And as a bartender, you have to be keen on all your product, on all the wines and all the beers. I mean, I can imagine it's just being like, tugged here and there and back and forth. And, you got to always keep a palate for all of it.
Yeah. Even if you don't like a certain kind, but you still got to know how to taste it and tell somebody what it's going to be like. Otherwise, you're going to be pouring tastes all night of this and that to everybody.
I forget sometimes. At the same time,
I like this night
I
on
think
Ponce.
great.
Recommend it.
Yeah.
This is
If my
definitely,
word means anything, which it doesn't, I recommend.
I think this is definitely a great one to finish with the beers. And with that, Gordon,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the 1,500 pieces. And you're also going to play one of your songs as well.
Yeah, I'm going to start with a song called Voyage, and it's the last song that I just recorded, just wrote. It's about 3 weeks old, and it's my ode, I guess, to the southern Miami, tropical lifestyle. I've always wanted to be down there. I want to retire, in somewhere in South Florida. Absolutely love the place. If reincarnation was real, then I know for a fact that I used to be a pirate at some point in time, because I've got a pirate heart, and it was actually the only song that I wrote, which is kind of like a little reggae feel to it, a lot of electronics. So what I did was I kind of stripped the song down. I'm going to be running tracks. There's going to be nothing live here except my vocals. But what I've done is I've isolated certain tracks to try to create a little vibe of this song, to where it feels stripped down and it feels rootsy, because otherwise it's very much a song that's filled with guitars and synthesizers and the like. So this song is called Voyage. Let me pull it up here real quick. Let me go ahead and give it a start. Okay, here we go. Hope I'm doing this right. I'm taking in the sights and the sounds. Calypso dancing as the sun goes down. The crash of the high tide fills my ear. Conversing with angels of pirateer. I lose with nothing on the line. If all my delusions take all of my time, everything I lose is something I can find. You know that I would die to kiss your lips and make you mine, to sail this ship until the end of time. Take a pirate's trip, and together we'll always be free. And if I can find a way, all I will stay. I claim by the ocean light, never stray my love for you. Just remember to always be free. I wanna live where I lost my soul. I wanna live where I lost control. One-way ticket, no way back. Never frightened of what I become. Did I lose with nothing on the line? If all my delusions take all of my time, everything I lose is something I can find.
You know that I would try to kiss your lips and make you mine. And sail it until the end of time. Take a pirate trip, and together we'll always be free. And if I can find a way all night, I'll take my claim by the ocean light. Never shake my love for you. Remember to always be brave. I will try to kiss your lips and make you mine. Sail that ship until the end of time. Take a pirate trip, and together we'll always be brave. Together we'll always be. Together we'll always be. Together we'll always be brave.
Nice little fade going out, right?
All right. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that one.
You're welcome. Oh, that was fun.
All right. Well, now we're going to throw it to Sean,
Oh man, that's dangerous.
bartender extraordinaire over here. We have to come up with a nickname for you, Sean.
Gosh, the nickname for me.
In the comments, let's come up with a nickname.
Oh no. Yeah,
We
you
had
know, I
one
was gonna-
earlier, but didn't want to go with it. I won't say what it was.
All right, so this evening, I remember a couple weeks ago, I had mentioned the thing about making lemoncello at Canoe. Well, I was in the middle of just starting to make orancello, which would be an orange-based limoncello. So limoncello is a drink, popularized, came from Italy. Limoncello uses lemons, orangello uses oranges. Otherwise, it's the same process, and this is by no means my invention. They also make this as well. So this is just basically grain alcohol that you put in citrus for about 2 weeks. Just let that sit, strain it out, and then you mix it 50-50 with a simple syrup. And in this case, I like to use a little bit of sort of a vanilla confection sugar in with the simple syrup. Usually I use about a couple teaspoons. And actually this particular stuff is imported from Italy. Unfortunately, I have some shaky hands, and I dropped the packet into the simple syrup while I was making it. I pulled it out, I burned my hands, and so essentially what we got is something that's a little creamier than normal, or a little more vanilla-y. I still think it's fantastic, but if anything besides the four of us were to try it, the fourth person being Ty the director, who you can't see on camera right now.
Ty the director.
Ty the director.
We love Ty the director.
But the best way to serve limoncello is, to me, ice cold. I like to put it in the freezer. Normally it's just refrigerated, but you can see it's very, very opaque. You can't see through it at all.
Can you pour it over ice?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same question.
You absolutely can, but normally it's served neat in a chilled glass. That would be like the standard. I left in the other room, but I actually have like a ceramic glass from Italy, so you can only serve like a chilled ceramic glass. That would be like the traditional way to do it. So popularized in southern Italy, normally they used just heavy distilled spirits. I'm sorry?
I have a chilled pint glass.
Sure. That's would you like to use?
Didn't give me enough to fill the pint glass, but
well, so and just to say, like, so I used grain alcohol, something about 95%. So mix 50-50, you're still at about 90 proof, maybe a little bit less. As this is, it is of course very syrupy because it was just diluted with simple syrup. But what you should get is something that is both sweet and burns, which I think is handles nicely, and it has like a kind of a finish of a Krispy Kreme donut, which I'm appreciating right now.
yeah, it does.
And what do you call this drink again?
Orancello.
Orancello. Okay. Well, that's good.
Now, we've put the challenge to our manager Kevin. He's known for making this stuff called Kevincello, and yeah, I hope he's watching right now. So we've given him the challenge to make his Kevincello, which is it's pretty darn close to lemoncello. And Sean's process takes, what did you say, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Kevin's process takes 2 months. So we've put the challenge to him. I think he told
So
me.
what does that mean? Is he like aging it in oak barrels or something? Why is it taking so long?
Does he tell the secret? I haven't heard how he does this.
Okay.
So what he mentioned is that he uses Meyer lemons, so they're special lemon, more expensive, take a little while to get, but also that he uses vodka instead of a grain alcohol. Because of that, it takes a little bit longer to him to infuse. Actually, I don't know if that's technically true, but you would get a little bit more flavor, a little more essence, totally fine. But also via his method, he likes to use less simple syrup to dilute it down. Now, traditionally, depending on who you talk to, lemoncellos, orancello, anything that originates from that Italian style of making this drink, they would go closer to something that's like 70 proof, 70 all the way down to like 60, 55 proof. So they would dilute it down a little bit more, have a little bit more simple syrup, but also have to be lower alcohol so it doesn't burn as much. And that kind of depends on the region, who you're talking to, whether it's a farmer, whether it's a craft distiller, spirits maker, that will tell you something one way or the other. Fun facts. But so let's say Kevin is a little more refined, possibly.
There you go. Okay.
As our beverage director.
Worked for a long time.
This is true. So a part of the challenge, I think, or part of what we're trying to do is also to make a cocktail with this. So I tried a couple different variations this week. The one that I landed on is what we're about to make and try. I'm going to switch my camera back, and hopefully, there we go. Ta-da! So now we're going to take about 1.5 ounces for our orancello. Put it into a tin with you can actually have no or just a little bit of ice. Really what we want to do is get it.
So you want less ice?
What's up?
Less ice, not very much ice.
Not really much ice. I mean, the whole point of this part of the process is just to get it mixed together.
Okay.
So we're going to do the orancello, 1.5 ounces.
Okay.
And about 1/2 ounce of your favorite whiskey.
My favorite. Can I use rye, or is the
You
bourbon
know what?
preferred?
We had a conversation about this. I would say
We
go
did?
ahead and use the
Why
rye.
I'm bringing this up.
I would say go ahead and use the rye. Now I'm using a bourbon, partly because the vanilla notes that are naturally in bourbon would pair well with orange, vanilla orange, creamsicle, that kind of idea. They go well together.
So which one should I go with?
You know, I would prefer you to do the rye and save the bourbon for me for later.
Okay.
But also just
So you want me to just waste my rye?
all
So-
right.
So not equal parts, right?
No. It's about 1/2 ounce of whiskey, sort of like a 3-to-1, and then 1.5 ounces of limoncello or orangello. Sorry.
Now, is this blend is that what I have here in this jar?
That is
Yes.
what I pre-did it for you because I didn't want to assume anything about musicians. Right?
Just it's well, I am kind of new to the mixology thing, but you guys are teaching me a few tricks
I
here.
started bartending before mixology was a thing, and nowadays people are like, "Oh, so you're a mixologist?" I'm like, I guess so.
I don't even know what that means right now. It's like,
Right. Whatever term you want to use, great. So we've got our bourbon and our whiskey, our orancello, and then put 1 dash of bitters in there.
So how should I do blend this? Half and half?
So for you, all you have to do is
Is
just
pour yours over ice into a glass.
pour yours over ice, which is like I'm
Okay.
a glass of ice right here. So for you, Gordon, just pour it over ice. I'm just gonna give mine a quick
I'll
stir.
watch. Well, actually, it's too late because I already poured it and I'm.
All right, John, I'm using a dropper. I use my bitters I use that like an eyedropper for my bitters. How many
Yes.
drops?
It's about 5 drops.
Gotcha.
And then pour it over ice.
Stir or shake?
I stir. I just stirred.
Okay. So you want the light. You don't want to really put the ice into the mix.
No, because what we're gonna do once we stir it and strain it over new ice in a new glass is add some soda water on top.
Okay. Strain it over fresh ice.
Yes, sir.
And then top off with soda water. How much soda water per the mix?
For the mix, that was close to like a 1.5 to 2 to 1. I'm using a pint glass.
Okay. I'm
That's
using a
the point.
smaller than that.
The point here being that normally limoncello is dense, it's sweet, it's hot. So this would be using it in a cocktail. You kind of want to expand on that, bring it out a little bit. So this is going to be a much lighter cocktail, something that should be a little more approachable or like easier to drink. So, cheers.
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 Wow, that's a beautiful drink.
That's a good summertime sitting on the patio.
Oh yeah. Wow, you know, I haven't tasted anything like this ever. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish this.
And the bitters just set it off.
And that's
I
it,
think
it's
any drink with bitters is phenomenal. I'm a big bitter fan. I'm sold.
Ian, which bitters did you use in yours?
I used the aromatic. I didn't use my own. I used the King Floyd's aromatic bitters. Anybody knows I do make my own bitters sometimes. I've got a cardamom bitters that I've made recently.
Oh man.
Now bitters are typically made of like what 100,
So
120 spices and herbs and.
So how I made this bitters, I wanted to make the cardamom stand out in it, mainly because I made it for a drink that we featured a couple weeks ago. So what you do is you take the cardamom pods, which if you ever seen a cardamom pod, they've got like little seeds inside of them. What you need to do is take a mallet and just smash the shit out of them.
I see the cardamom ground up in a shaker in my
Yeah.
spice cabinet.
Yeah, you're not going to get that when you make the bitters, but you pound it up with a nice good mallet, give it a good thing. You put it in a mortar and pestle and really grind it out. So you're pulling the seed, breaking those seeds up. I pour it in a mason jar. Then I'll take some whole nutmeg. So you ever seen whole nutmeg? They're about yay big. They're like, what about the size of maybe a grape? But they're hard as a rock. So again, you have to take that mallet to it again, put it in the mortar pestle, really grind it up and get that out. Pour that over the top of the cardamom. Then I'll take some black peppercorns as well. Same deal, pound it, grind it, pour it in the thing, and top it off with a little bit of bourbon. I used rye on this. Usually when you make a bitters, you use a natural spirit the same way he did with the orancello, because there's nothing else that's blocking the flavors that you want. Although I wanted the rye flavor on this, so I used a rye whiskey with it.
Okay.
So then you also take one whole lemon peel, take it off the fruit, and you cover that with bourbon as well. So the difference is the herbs you put in a mason jar and cover it, shake it up real good, and put in the fridge for like 4 days. The lemon you do the same, but you don't cover it. You let the liquor evaporate a little bit with it as well. But it does go in the fridge for 4 days as well. At the end of that, you take the 2 out. You've got to strain it out through. I use coffee filter because it's going to take every little bit of.
Basically, you got to be a scientist to
Kind of,
make this stuff, right?
But you
Basic chemistry set.
you want just liquid once you get it out. Once you get it on there, you can take that coffee filter and squeeze it in there too if you want. If you're not very patient, but.
Well, I try to use bitters in everything that I make. Even if it's a Jack and Coke, man, you put a couple of drops of bitters in there, and all of a sudden it's a craft cocktail.
It's different. Yeah.
The bitters is the key. Absolutely.
It's real easy to make. It's just time consuming. It takes some time to make, and you have to wait for it to make. But it's fun when you got time like this. You get time to start getting into the books and getting on the internet and learning new things and.
Absolutely. No, this is a beautiful drink.
And making your own, and then what really makes it is you gotta make it your own. So you gotta do something different. But
well, I want to try your shrub one day because
I've got it right here. We'll definitely get on that.
That's a cucumber and basil drink, right?
We were talking about that. We were going to give Sean the shrub challenge. So next week I'm going to make a shrub. I'm not going to tell him what kind of shrub it is until I make it. And then I'll give it to him. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to tell him what flavor it is on Friday. And then he has to make a cocktail.
Cool.
Your job's on the line.
I've been doing this long enough. I got nothing but time, son.
Yeah, so where do I need to drive to get a sample of that?
Yes, we'll get you a sample of it.
That's awesome.
And I've also put an instructional video how to make shrub on the website. When I make this shrub, I'll definitely make a video of me making it as well and show you how to make it yourself. You can do strawberries, blueberries, lemons, anything that is a fruit. You just cover it with sugar, let it sit for a couple days, and you get a nice syrup that comes from that. It's a natural syrup. And then you just mix it with vinegar, and you get a real good bite. And you don't even have to mix it with liquor. You can put some club soda or some ginger ale or ginger beer, Sprite over the top of it.
That is just amazing. Now, most of these recipes are like ancient recipes, right?
Yeah.
Ancient recipes for bitters, for shrubs. People have been like, making this kind of alcohol for centuries, right?
Yeah. The shrub is actually Arabic for drinking vinegar. And I guess they've been making it for almost 5,000 years.
They make it with champagne vinegar. Yeah, that's right.
With vinegar. So shrub is basically equal parts that syrup that you get from this. Either way you can do it. So you can either do it the natural process where you cover it with sugar and you pull all the liquids out of the fruit itself, or you can make a simple syrup by adding water, equal parts water and sugar, putting it on a slow heat, and stirring it until it becomes clear, and then adding your fruit to infuse to that simple syrup, and then adding to it. Either way is the same way. You're getting the same thing on that, but it's the process of infusing that flavor of that fruit into the sugar, and then adding the vinegar later.
So I got to ask. I know I liked mine. Gordon liked his. Ian, how is yours with rye?
I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I think the bourbon. I think the vanilla flavors that you were talking about with the bourbon maybe would have been a little bit better. I almost feel like this is a little light in flavor with the rye.
Okay.
I think that the bourbon would have gave it a little bit, because with that you get that sour and that sweet, that corn that you get instead of rye. There's more sweetness that comes with bourbon, and I think that would be better with this drink, to be honest with you.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to steal this recipe and I'm going to make it sometime at the public house.
We got you.
As long as when I come to the public house, as long as I get it free, we're good.
When I was in Napa the first time I went out there, actually it was in Sonoma. Me and the guy I worked with at the time, we had won the trip by selling wine to get out with Gallo, and Gallo put us up to take us out through Napa. And the first night we went to this bar right in downtown Healdsburg. Actually, it's in Sonoma. And Wyatt is the name. He's kind of he's the Georgia representative of Gallo. But he was our tour guide basically the whole time. So he knew the town, he knew the places to go to. He took us to this bar, and he had these two bartenders that could just create a drink on the fly, and I was just so impressed by that. I was like, I thought I was good at making stuff and drinks and that, and these guys are just like, they got a thin slice. I made this shrub this morning, and I'm gonna add this to this and this and this and this, and I'm like,
I've never heard of the shrub. It's almost like a lost art. Where did it go?
yeah.
Why haven't we
they're
been making these
delicious.
drinks for the last like century, 2 centuries?
It's coming back, and I think at least for us, like in the U.S., like we had a kind of this weird dearth of cocktail culture from Prohibition, and it just took a huge slump, and it's been slowly coming back.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
But also we have a weird culture around anything indulgent in the U.S. Like if you love it, it's bad for you. But we're gonna do it, but we're not gonna talk about it. And so anything focused around that has been kind of rides that kind of weird wave. But like Ian was saying, like drinking vinegar, or literally having a drinking vinegar has been around forever. But that's culturally hasn't been our palate. Like we're not used to super vinegary strong things. That's more of an Eastern European or I'd say Arabic. I'm not sure the proper adjective, but not in the U.S.
Like Eastern European, Turkish, kind of Greece, yeah.
Right. So it's
even like
we're finally getting cool enough to get back to.
And so, and Brian had mentioned this last week that he kind of compared it to kombucha. Now, I'm not exactly sure what kombucha, like the whole process. I haven't gone that far into my education. I was at a bar in Indianapolis last year that had it on draft, kombucha on draft, and I was like,
Was
okay,
it alcoholic?
huh? I don't think so. It was just
It can be, but it's not usually.
Yeah. But it's more of those. It's more that it's like a health thing that people do. But if you drink just the straight shrub like that, it's pretty good for you.
Wow, a health thing. Make it a 5.5, and I might try it. Just saying.
All right.
Calling it.
So we know Gordon's going to finish up with a song here with us. You got one more song for us, but real quick, I also like to just say this, that we like to have a good time on this show. We also like to promote people that support good causes. So if you have something to promote, reach out to us at the Beery Traveler. My email is thebeerytraveler@gmail.com. And if we'll talk to you, we'll get you on and have a couple drinks with us and hang out with us and talk about your cause or what you like to promote. That's because really that's what this show's about is helping you guys promote yourself. We want to bring people on to introduce people to different beers, different style of cocktails, different ways of making drinks, and educating the people. If you like to have cocktails, you want to do something a little different, you come up with a cocktail like this at your house party, you're like a big star. So,
Yeah, and the bar is set really high with this one right now. This is really good.
Thank you, and that's why we call him the bartender extraordinaire.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna refresh my glass here.
Double dip on that. Yeah,
I did too. It's way higher than it was before.
But we also are going to run a little contest. So we also like to try to spread the word. So the first person that can get 10 people to come on to the comments and say that you shared this with them and you brought them to this, you in a future episode, you get to come hang out, try the beers, talk to the guests, and participate in the conversation.
Heck yeah.
Will you deliver mixed drinks and beers to their door too?
I deliver everything to you, like I did.
As long as it's legal.
I will bring
totally
it to
put you on the spot.
You're going to be part of this. You're going to be part of it, hanging out and having fun with us. So that's definitely what we want to do on this show. We want to spread the word. We want to make everybody appreciate cocktails. Appreciate
these are the best cocktails I've ever had.
Well, thank you so much.
Seriously. All right.
All right, with that, Gordon, we're gonna put you on the spot, and you have one more song for us, right?
Got one more song. It's going to be similar to the last song. What I've done is I've stripped it down. I've left a little bit of drum in the song, the acoustic guitar in, took the bass out, took a lot of the keyboards out, took a lot of the vocal, took a lot of the, the fillers out to create kind of a vibe. I wanted to, make this a little bit of an acoustic feel, but I wanted to provide a little backbone behind it as well. And this is the first song that we released to Spotify and all of the streaming services. By the way, 1,500 pieces. You can follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us pretty much everywhere. Would love to have you as a follower. Would love to hang out and chat with you. I'm very active, and the rest of the guys in 1,500 pieces are very active with their social media. So we would love to get a chance to meet you, hang out with you online. You, like I said, you can follow us 1,500 pieces. We did a video for this song that we filmed in Union City, actually, an abandoned hotel. The entire video was filmed in an abandoned hotel. That's on YouTube. And this song is called Maybe. And a lot of times when I sing, I kind of go off on a tangent. I go off in my own world. So
do it, man. Go off on your own world. We want you to sing out. I feel like
Stay on, Mike. Stay on, Mike.
Hustle and flow. I want to grab you by the arm and be like, push that shit out.
All right. I'm gonna let it loose. All right, I'm gonna let it loose. Don't judge me. Here we go. Now, we're all friends here. Light up the night, maybe you can stay for a while. I'll tell you everything that I keep private and a little more. My guess is you are inclined, just maybe. My skin is on fire, maybe. You keep me up all night, and all I wanna say, I said it before, maybe you're out of this world. Hey, what I meant to say, you're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. You're all I wanted in this life. I never let you go, maybe. Maybe. You drive me wild, maybe. You make me feel like a child. I'll take you any place of your desire for just a little more. My guess is you are inclined, just maybe. We play each other at times, maybe. The solution is wise. All I want to say, I said it before, maybe you're out of this world. Hey, what I meant to say, you're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. And all your crosses that you bear won't shake my faith. The skies light up when I see you smile. Come and save my day. You're all I wanted in this life. I never let you go, baby. Maybe we play each other at times, maybe. Baby, you're out of this world. And hey, what I meant to say, you're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. And all your crosses that you bear won't shake my faith. The skies light up when I see you smile. Come and save my day. You're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. You're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. You're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing. You're all I wanted in this life. Don't change a thing.
Yeah.
Now that volume was a little bit lower, so I apologize for that.
No, that was great.
Yeah. Cool.
I know Sean wanted to say a couple things real quick before we go.
Oh, thank you. I thought I missed my spot, and I was like, shit.
He's about to kick my ass afterwards. He's like, motherfucker, you're mine tonight.
Right? Yeah, I'm just gonna drink your shrub next week. My piece of shrub. Goddamn, it's all shrub. No. So, of course, thank you, Gordon, for being on. I appreciate it. Can't wait to actually see you in person, hopefully in a bar setting. That would be nice. Also, I co-host and produce another podcast called Wasted Knowledge. I've been pumping out all week episodes for season 2. So if anyone listening would like to come listen to it, it's on Spotify, it's on Stitcher, it's on Google, it's on Apple, it's on everything.
What is Wasted Knowledge all about?
Wasted Knowledge is the conversation you have at a bar when someone says, hey, what do you do? But instead of some drunk schmo, it's hosted by your bartender. And normally it's myself and another career bartender. Used to work at Canoe, now works in another restaurant in Atlanta. So it's
Tell his name. His name is TC, and he is a pretty awesome guy. And you're kind of like, you're selling him short a little bit here.
Well, I don't know. I felt weird.
I should have wore the TC. If I would have wore the TC shirt tonight just for him.
Sorry, TC.
I love you, TC. TC, you know I love you.
The inventor.
Grass and fantasy football this year again, too.
Jesus Christ. So TC and I host this podcast. It's Drunk Personal History with your bartenders. So starting season 2, we have the lead science officer for the Mars Rover 2020 mission, and it goes on from there. I had a lot of fun doing it. My sensei from Allentown, Pennsylvania, who I met, or came back down to Atlanta to do this podcast. Actually, just listened to it today. He's like, "Oh, it was pretty fun." So I got my sensei drunk. How great is that?
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, so that's out now. I think that's the biggest announcement I had. Oh God, I hope I didn't have another one because I forgot because I finished now 1.5 of these and I'm good. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me on. Come see me. If I could just plug a little bit.
Yes, plug away.
Yeah, seriously, come see me at Public House 28. I bartend there when it's open. It's on Bolton Road, just a little bit east of South Cobb. Come down, hang out with me. I'll make you. Hopefully, I'll be able to make you one of these.
I'm gonna bring you some shrub. I'll bring you a special shrub just for you, brother.
Wow, thank you so much. I know that's going to make the patrons over at Public House very happy because this is one of the best things I've ever had.
But you have to make the drink.
Okay.
If I make you the shrub, you have to come up with the drink. I'm going to put that challenge to you.
Okay, so what's the challenge? If you make the shrub for me, I have to do what?
You have to make the drink that goes with it.
Oh, yeah.
You have to add the alcohol.
Oh, it would. Yeah, I mean, I've got to learn how to make this. I have to learn how to make this. This is fantastic.
I'll teach you how to make it, but you have to add the ingredient to the drink. The shrub is one ingredient to a drink.
That's right. So I have to come up with the other 50% of the flavor.
Yes.
Experience. I'm with it. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you, Gordon. Thank you to New Realm. Thank you to 3 Taverns. Thank you to Monday Night Brewery. Thank you to Sean. Hey, you guys have a safe time out there. Stay inside for right now. I know some of the governors are letting us out. No, stay inside. We need to be safe. We need to be right. And you know what? Until next time, cheers. You guys have a good night. I'm
Cheers.
the Beery Traveler. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
And we're off.
What'd you think? Was that a good show?
Great show.
I
Great
think it
show.
was fun. I had a lot of fun tonight.
That was so much fun. Oh my God. I hope I didn't get too buzzed. I apologize if I got a little chatty.
No,
and
you're all
buzzy.
right.
I think we just need to mention to all of our guests to, make sure that they are aware of how much they're consuming. But no, you were fine, Gordon. You were great. You were great.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I think that everybody who was watching probably knew exactly what we were drinking and how much we were drinking.
Oh yeah. We
Oh,
told
yeah.
the alcohol percentage before. When we're rattling off 6 and 7%, and we're drinking the whole thing of the beers, which I didn't. I promised my wife I would not drink all the beer tonight.
Man,
But-
and I still have some of this beer left too.
I'm gonna keep going. You know, we kind of turned this into an after party, Gordon. If you want to hang out for a little bit, we kind of just chit chat and finish it off this way. Just kind of hanging out. If you want to hang out for a little bit, my wife comes down sometimes and hangs out with us.
You're off mic, buddy.
I am.
No, Sean.
Let me close the door. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then I'm gonna close the door. We're gonna hang out. Hold on.
We'll hang out. I'm gonna go get my wife. I gotta pee too.
I also have to pee.
Pee break. Pee break.
Go for it all, guys.
Hey, Ty, how was the cocktail?
Cocktail's great, man. I really enjoyed it. Did you see my comments that I sent you?
I can't read it from here.
Oh, it's really good. I did make it. I made it with Bullet 10-year.
Cool.
And it's really delicious. This definitely should be. If you make this in quantity, put this out on River Bar. Oh my God.
I mean, I made 2 liters of it.
Well, that sounds like personal consumption to me. I'm just talking about, when we're able to go back out and everything, River Bar.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful drink. And I use the Bitterman's Transatlantic bitters.
What does it taste like?
It's just another sort of aromatic bitter composition.
Okay.
It's nice. I like it. But these 3 ingredients, the orancello, the bourbon, and those bitters, beautiful. Really, really sharp.
Yeah, man. That tastes. I started out, to be totally honest, I did like a 2-to-1 orancello to Coca-Cola with a splash of bitters. Now it wasn't bad, but it was completely neutral.
Right.
It's basically everything canceled itself out. I was like, oh fuck.
Right.
So this was like the next iteration. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is good.
No, it's interesting because the bourbon definitely bounces off the orange, but I can definitely, I'm very interested to try it with the rye because I think the rye adds a little honey to it, and the honey and the orange and the rye, I really like that combo.
I think it depends on the rye. Bullet rye is very plain.
Yeah, no, it is. It is not the most bold rye,
Right.
but pretty much almost any other rye. Sorry, and I like Bullet rye. I mean, but you're right. It is a plain rye.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Angel's Envy, which I think would probably be too much in it.
So
Which would be nice.
It's
But
good.
it'd be too
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's good alone. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't need to add
so much
anything else
alone.
to that one.
Fantastic blend.
Gordon's
I've
back.
been-
He got me. Now I'm gonna go pee.
Oh, hey.
Okay. Hey, we were just talking about the cocktail and the
this one
differences
here?
between rye and bourbon. Yeah.
Oh, this is one of the best things. Seriously, I wasn't just blowing smoke. This is one of the best things I've ever had.
It's really lovely as a cocktail. Yeah, no, we were talking about the
Beautiful.
differences between bourbon and rye, and I've been really much on a rye kick.
So what's the major difference between a bourbon and a rye?
Well, bourbon is you know the definition of bourbon, right? 3 things for bourbon. In order for it to be bourbon, it has to have these 3 things. First one is it has to be 51% corn, minimum. So a lot of them are more than, a lot of them are 70, 80% corn, but a majority of corn is the mash. The rest of it can be whatever it is. And then it has to be aged at least 1 year in new charred oak barrels. And it's American oak. That's the second. And the third thing, it has to be made in America. Anything that is done that is outside of America, it's just whiskey. It's not bourbon. So that's bourbon. Rye is made from rye. Think of rye bread, rye.
Right.
So a little spicier. It's got a little bit more, we'll say, character versus bourbon, which is sweeter.
Right.
So when you think of
corn versus rye.
Corn versus, because corn's sweeter than rye, right?
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah, rye is a little spicier. It's got some. I want to say it's a little more complex, and I've been very much on a rye kick lately, and I've been trying so many different types of ryes, and I really like it. But one of the interesting things that I found about rye is, you know, even if you're just drinking it straight up, you add an ice cube to it, let it sit there, and you're sipping it, and there's this honey note to it. There's a lot of honey to it.
You think so? I don't get it.
As a natural flavor, as a natural rye flavor.
What do you drink?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just talking if you drink rye neat.
I'm about to do it right.
And actually, when I say neat, I mean add a little water to it. You know, add 2 ice cubes. So if you're using those long ice cubes, just add 1.
I just happen to have some rye right here.
Just add 1 of those long ice cubes to it. And when you sip your rye, you'll get that spiciness, but the afternotes, the things in the back of your throat there, are honey. And it's really interesting, and I really enjoy that. Because, I mean, for me, one of my favorite cocktails done properly is a rusty nail.
Okay.
Wow, Drambuie Scotch.
And I like the honeyed scotch. I like the honey. It's pretty much honey. Anything with honey. Bee's knees.
Have you ever tried the Baron-Jäger?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Baron-Jäger is some real deal right there.
I actually have, you know, Jägermeister put out a ginger.
Really?
It's called Character. Hold on.
Is it a ginger Jaeger?
Yeah.
Or is it a completely different?
I got to put it in front of me, I guess.
Jaeger's going.
I mean, I guess, so if you're describing the honey, it's more like the waxy style that you get from honey, right?
I guess, yes. The waxiness.
I don't get sweet at all from the rye.
Sweetness too.
Huh?
It's the sweet. It's the after sweet that you have in there, because rye. And the thing about rye, I mean, rye bread, anything with rye, it's got a lot of. I'm going to say the composition, the character of rye is complex.
Well, it's a grass, so grass is sugar is a grass, rye is a grass, sorghum is grass.
Sugar's a grass, sorghum. Okay, I just learned something new. Right on.
Well, it's a grain too. It's a grain. It's a grass. All of those grains, grasses are.
So the grains are going to be naturally sweeter as a result.
Well, it depends on how.
So. But corn is a grain too.
Yeah, corn is very sweet. It's got a lot of sugar in it. It's got big kernels, whereas rye has smaller kernels and has some sugar, but there's more spiciness. And I don't know what the chemistry is involved in that, but there is spiciness. It's a little hotter
with the rye.
A little more licoricey, a little more
anisey.
Anisey.
Complex.
Yeah.
It's more complex. And I think that the back of the throat moment, it has some honey notes to it. You know, it's got that after sweet, and I prefer the after sweet versus the.
I think you're thinking more like what I get from it is more like that waxy, or even like a clover almost from it.
Sure. But I mean, clover is one of the biggest honeys there are.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, good show, guys. Absolutely. I thought it was.
It felt good. It felt like a good show. Like I felt better than I did on any show. And I told you today I was in a good mood all day today.
Nice.
Like we had good music today, like coming out. My friend from the Norm released a new song today, so.
And I could see the whole 311 connection with the Norm and 311. They sound a lot like a lot like 311.
I tried to respond to all of the people that were commenting.
You okay? Because I can't see any of that shit.
I did that. Yeah.
How many people do we get max watching us at once?
Honestly, the most I saw was 5.
Yeah. We'll get that.
But now that I see this thing, I see people reached 156 engagements, 72 with 75 views.
Okay, that'll go up.
So what does that translate to? Is that progression? Is that progress?
No, I think that's about it. Normal.
Yeah,
okay.
We're in a plateau at this moment. I mean, we're still young. Like this is the 5th or 6th actual full episode we've done. So
and we're going with like nothing. We're like going from like no one promoting us, no one doing anything for us. So it's like this is just us doing this.
You know what this is? This is new. This is new podcast. This is new creativity with new technology. And this is a part of a new culture, and I absolutely love it. I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you so much for inviting me to this. And I really hope this thing grows into something bigger than you expect.
I hope it does.
Hopefully you'll come back when you have an album that you want to play on, and we're a big show and with budgets and things.
Well, like I said, like I told you today, I've got a huge deck in the back with a huge like patio fire pit that is like perfect for bringing like 15, 20 people in here to watch as well. And like doing the show from here with like a live audience.
Super concert. Sure. I love it.
Yeah. You guys are awesome, man. I would love to do something like that.
Like we're trying to keep it going, you know. We want to get bigger.
Yeah. Hey, so Gordon, did you advertise at all?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you advertise that you'll be on this show at all? Did you
I did.
Okay.
I saw a couple of new likes. From people I had no idea who they were. So I'm assuming.
Okay, cool.
You know, I wanted to. I basically what I did was I put together and I gave it a little bit of thought, and I reached out to all the people that I thought would enjoy this podcast. I excluded those who were just, I feel that are kind of just, floating out there,
bring them in too, though.
Follower. I reached out to a lot of my West Coast friends, family, people that would really, enjoy watching something like this. The bar, everybody at Dawn, at Public House, Dawn and Sarah Beth and all of the, waitresses and cooks and staff.
I'm actually trying to get Sarah Beth on here.
You're trying to get.
Okay, that's the ukulele girl, or no? That's Sean. Yeah. Sean's got the ukulele girl, right?
No, that's Sarah Beth is the ukulele girl.
Yeah. Because me and Sean both have a ukulele that we can come out and like I think what would be a cool thing is like her to try to teach us how to play a song that she's doing on the ukulele.
She's got an awesome person. She's got an awesome character and a personality, and she is lively and engaging and warm, and she would be a lot of fun to have on the show.
See, and I say that we need women.
I can imagine.
We need women on the show too. That's why.
Absolutely.
That's why I was like, Angela, you should come on here and do this too, because
women that smoke cigars and make cocktails.
Yes, this is like the 20s, so we're back on the Roaring 20s where women are like taking the next step. Bring it on.
I think you're on top of it, man. I think you guys are
drink
on
some
top
neat
of it.
whiskey with me and smoke a cigar with me. I will smoke a cigar with a woman on the show.
I'm going to stop
Hands
recording
down.
now.
Oh, really? Well, you guys, I'm not as good of you guys are your bartending your skills and recipes and they're it's going to be a while before I'm at that level, but I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and if there's any space that I could fill on this podcast, I'm totally interested.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Send us artists, people that want to play on this as well.
Okay.
We're looking for people who want to come on and like share their talents. We're small time, just like anybody else. We're looking to get bigger, and the people that we sit down with, like you, like we're both in the same boat. We're trying to promote each other, and if we work together, just shooting a shit, and we get 50 more people that like each of us, we're both doing better.
Social media is a very interesting thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can engage somebody for a very short period of time and they will follow you for the next decade.
Yeah.
It's I'm learning a lot about social media, and I'm learning a lot about how to be able to utilize what I do as a musician and as an artist, how to utilize that with all the tools that are out there. And I'm on Spotify, I'm on iTunes. I'm not a young guy. I'm not a spring chicken. So
me neither. I'm in my 40s.
Oh, dude, I got you beat. I got seriously. I'm probably the oldest guy on this show right now.
You think so? How old are you? Let's say at the same time.
I'm 51.
Oh, you got me. I'm 42.
Yes, 51. I've got almost a whole decade on you, dude.
You do not look 51. I'll tell you that right now.
Earrings, man. You got to pierce your ears.
No, you don't even have a single gray hair.
No, oh no, I do. I've got some gray hairs.
Trust me, I've had my ears pierced. Look at that. Look at that.
I've got more gray hairs than you, man. That's why I shave the sides of my head.
Wow. Okay, dude. Los Angeles, right here. I'm from LA.
Yeah.
Get a lot of.
I grew up in Minnesota.
I know. I know. We'll talk. We'll talk. We're not being filmed, right?
No.
Hold on one second.